Hello everyone, it's Karen Cornell, your Creative Memories Advisor. And it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another project recipe. And I'm so excited because we're doing, I think we are on number 33, I think. Last week, if you watched last week's video where I did number 4, I believe, I went through all the ones that we have done. So if you need a refresh of all the ones we've done, go back and watch that one. But keep your handy dandy checkoff sheet with you so you can keep track of everything. If you are new, I'm a busy mom of 2 girls. One's in middle school and one's in elementary school. And so 2 schools, 2 bus routes, it's crazy. But I'm still very passionate about preserving our family memories. So I want to make sure I keep up with my scrapbooking, and I have a wonderful husband that supports me doing this. And he helps me with all the technical stuff because some of it gets complicated. But if you like my style, please subscribe to my channel and follow. We do this every week, and I post other videos sporadically during the week or the month and everything. So without further ado, let's get started because that's why you're here, is to scrap. So we are going to do project recipe number 28. And this one is kind of fun because it doesn't require any border maker cartridges or border punches. There's no punching like that. You're just going to use your trimmer, but you are going to need a fun blade. So in here, they use the Decal. I am going to use the Victorian. I like the Victorian because it gives a little bit more definition than the Decal, but they're both very, very, very cool, and they give just enough to the cut. So I love that. And I also noticed that my mat is getting kind of worn out. And if you never know when to change it, if you have such a groove in your mat here that you can put your fingernail in, or you can't see the dotted line very well, it's time to change it. If it's not cutting cleanly, it's time to change it. So what I do is I store it back here and I just pop it out. I can pop it out, there we go. And I'm just gonna put a new one in, so it's gonna feel amazing. I can't wait. Okay, so we just put this in and we're starting fresh, yay. Okay. So you will need 2 designer papers as your base papers. I am using that powdered Christmas collection. And so my left is going to be this page, my right is going to be this. And because this collection had these kind of papers as cardstock, this is going to be my cardstock, so it coordinates beautifully. And then you're going to need 1 designer paper. So this is my 1 designer. And then 2 pieces of cardstock. And I'm going to cut this very carefully because I am going to use this as my mat, for my 4x6 mat for right here. But I can use it that way because I will have room. If you look right here, I will be cutting 3.5 and then 4.5, and then this is my 4x6, so it works out perfectly. So I'm going to use this, and I'll still have room for a 4x4 because I'm using this side of it for that. So when we get there, I'll explain that. And then this is going to be my final cardstock color, which is the opposite side as this. So I'm going to be careful where I cut it because I'm going to kind of see which ones I would possibly use at a later date. So I've thought this through a lot, so hopefully it goes well. I'm going to try my best, y'all. Okay, so we're going to put this here, and this goes here. And then I'm going to cut my first designer paper, and it's going to be at 6 inches. And don't stress if you don't have the directions. I will walk you through every step. So you're going to need your arm out so you can see it. Put the little leg down in the back, and then make sure you change your blade. So I always have the shutter face the creative memories. So shutter to shutter. So we have that. That way I know in case I'm doing one that matters. This one does not matter, but like the scallop, it does matter how you're going to be scalloping. Oh, that felt so good when it cut. Oh, so cute. I love it. Okay, just a little bit. And then we're going to cut this. So I am going to go ahead and cut my 4 inches first. I'm going to cut this backwards so that I make sure I get my mat. And before you cut, make sure you change your blade back to the straight blade. So do that. And then we're going to cut it right at 4 inches. Oh, it's so smooth. Okay. Then we're going to cut it at 4 inches because now I'm doing the cardstock side right here. So this is 4. And then this I need at 6. So I'm going to cut this right here. This is a little off, so I'm going to cut just a smidge off. Move it over just a tad. There we go. Got that off. There we go. So there is my card, and then this is my 4x4 for letter H. And then now I'm going to cut, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to go back to C, and I'm going to cut 3.5. Then I'm going to cut it 5.5. So I'm going to turn it and cut it at 5.5. Then another one at 5.5. And this is scrap. Then I'm going to have 4.5. And that's what I have left, so perfect. And I'm going to turn that and cut it at 3.5. And then another one at 3.5. And one more at 3.5. See, these are all very easy, simple cuts, so it's nice. And then this is scrap. Then we have your dark green cardstock, or your third paper, which would be a cardstock. Now, I looked at this, and I definitely am going to be using these again because I love those. So I am going to cut this at 5.5. And I like to tuck it in sometimes, so I make sure I get it right at the edge. So there's my 5.5. This is extra, and see, I've got this extra, so I'm excited. And so that's all that. So that's all the cutting is done. Put that out of the way. And then now let's assemble. These colors are just so pretty. So I've got my directions here. And you're gonna have, I'm gonna put these so you can see them. So the pretty side is gonna go right there. And then it's gonna go on this side. And I know that looks kind of busy, but don't worry because you're going to be filling it with mats. So it's going to be okay because you're covering it up. And this over here will be covered right here. And then this is down here. And then this is over here. And then this will be right there. And I love using mats where you could cut these in half or you don't have to. And I like that they are together. But depending on my picture, I could cut this in half and put one on each side and put the picture in the middle if I'd like. So I do have that option. So let's start adhering. But I think this is going to be pretty. I really was debating if I wanted to use this side, but I felt like it was too white. So that's why I went with this to add more color to it. And I'm going to flip the other side. I forgot to do that because I was like, oh wait, that looks familiar. And then on this side, you're going to flip it because that is awfully busy. So then I'm going to flip it like that, and that'll be much better. That's why I picked this paper. I was trying really hard not to make mistakes today. I haven't really made one yet. There we go. So that's going to go there. Then we're going to take this. These colors are just so pretty. And my girls, we go to Nutcracker and every year to support a friend of ours. And I just think this is going to be really pretty for that. I'm going to put it about 1 inch down. So make sure it's lined up. So pretty. And this is going to go right here. So pretty. And we're going to put these. And when I have to do like 3 in a row like this, I like to do the first one, the center one first, and then space the other ones. So I'm going to do this first one, and it's centered. It's like an 8 1/4 down, and then I'll put this one on. And that helps me get it centered on the page. And then my other mats fell on the floor, so let me get them. They slid away. Where'd they go? Oh. Wow, they went far. They went under my cart. We're going on a field trip. Then we have this. I really love this collection. It's so pretty. But I struggled with using it because of this paper that had the cards. And I think it's because I was so scared to cut it. Have y'all ever felt like you're so scared to cut some paper? And so you just leave it in your collection and you don't use it? So then earlier during this project recipe challenge, I used some other papers for a different layout. And I was like, this is really pretty paper. Why am I not using this? It's okay to cut a paper that has mats on one side and not using it as mats. It's okay. Embrace it. So it's kind of funny. And then they have a border sticker down. And so I have border stickers. Hold on. I had border stickers. Where'd they go? Oh, they're in the collection. Sorry. Here they are. So I have this, and I think the stripes are too much. So I'm thinking, before I put it down, I'm going to use my anti-stick powder and put this down and just kind of play. And this is where I really do take time to figure out how I want to put my stickers down and my borders. I don't always do that because sometimes I want my pictures to go first and then, but this is a border that I think I just don't know if it's going to get lost. It seems like it's getting lost a little bit. So I think I'm going to play with it a little bit. I do have this little piece that I saved from a previous project recipe. But I think that the plaid is fighting with the stripes. I don't know. I'm going to think about it and see what I can come up with. because they do have a strip that goes right down there, and it makes this go in a little bit. Oops, there goes my anti-stick. See, this is where I need the blooper reel. I'm like, whoops. I don't know. It's not bothering me too much. It is, I think once I get my pictures, let's see if I put some pictures down and see if that helps tame it a little bit and see. Because I'm going to have places to embellish, and these have lots of cool stickers. So I'm going to think about that. So this would go here. These would go here. And this would go here. And if I don't have this size. So this is, what is it? 3 by 5. So if I do, right there. See if that tames it down a little bit, but I think it's kind of getting lost a little bit. But I'm going to play with it some more, but I am going to have my embellishments. Like you have room for something here, and you could always add a border maker cartridge there. I'm just kind of looking at what I have sitting around my craft room right now. It covers up the cute paper too much. I do like how it brings the blue across the page, but we'll see. But you can have like an embellishment cluster here. You could even add another photo here. If you wanted to add another photo, you could very easily add. You could cut out another mat and put another photo here. There's lots of options, so that would work well. You could, if I wanted it the same color, I could turn this over and put it here and then use a different mat for here if I wanted more photos. But you have plenty of room for journaling, a cluster there. You have plenty of room to pick different spots here or here. Lots of different options. So I will post my final layout as a final slide, because that was a suggestion y'all made. But go ahead and remember to go ahead and mark off that you have completed number 28 on your checkoff sheet. I keep forgetting to do this with y'all, so make sure you do that. And check out my final layout after this slide. So I hope y'all have a fabulous day and you're enjoying getting these project recipes done. This one was an easy one, but it's gonna be quite challenging how I figure out what I wanna do over here with this little area, but I will figure it out and I will show you. So have a fabulous day. Happy scrapping.